Hey, I wanted just to do a quick video walk around of my 1984 CJ7. I've had it for just over 2 years now, and just wanted to give a little bit of a walk around. There's a lot of people asking me about it and what all I've done to it and what all the specs are on it, and I figured I would just do a walk around video of it. So again, it's a 1984 CJ7. It has got roughly about 100,000 miles on the tub, and then on the motor itself it's got about 10,000 or so miles. I'd have to look at the odometer, but it does have a newer 350 V8 swap in it. It has the default or stock T-176 4-speed transmission, and it still has the Dana 300 transfer case. It does have a lift. It's a 3-inch lift, and the lift was put on before me. I don't know the make of it. It rides pretty rough. It's not all that great, but it's at the same time it's a little worn out. So it's a couple years old, so it rides a little better than it probably used to. But I'm running 33-1250 KO2 BF Goodrich, and like I said, it's about a 3-inch lift. There is no body lift or anything like that. And then this past season, I've gone through and done a lot of rebuilding. I had issues with the transmission, transfer case, and rear end, so I rebuilt each one of those. It wasn't too bad. The first time I've attempted to rebuild those, but just took one at a time, and spent about a month or so doing it, and was able to rebuild it without too much an issue. So yeah, so stock gears, I think they are 373s on the actual rear end and front end. The rear end does have one-piece axles. They're the G2 one-piece axle replacements. And this past year, like I said, I did go in and rebuild the rear end. I did pull it all apart, redid all the bearings and seals and everything like that, and it's been working pretty good. That was my first time rebuilding it as well. On the doors, it actually came with this soft top and soft doors, and I found a set of YJ doors on Facebook Marketplace that were electric blue. So I went through and did a complete rebuild and refurbished on those, and actually painted those in my garage. They're not perfect, but it's a whole lot better than blue. Yeah, so redid all the door cards, the seals, everything's been redone on the inside of it. The doors work great. On the inside, I've gone through, replaced the seats. It had some eBay style seats. I put some new best top seats for the front to match the best top seat that it had in the back. And it does have bed rug carpet all throughout, and I did put the Rugged Ridge floor mats in it. It also has upgraded speakers front, and then it also has the little pods there in the back as well. But yeah, on the inside, not a whole lot has changed. We have replaced the steering wheel. It's got a Grant steering wheel. Works okay. Finally got all the horn and stuff working on that, and that was a little bit of a rebuild. And then all the gauges have been upgraded or replaced. The stock tech is still there. The main gauge has been replaced with the aftermarket one. It works pretty good. I wouldn't mind replacing it with the speed hut, and it has the factory volt, and then I've replaced the oil pressure. And then also at the bottom down here, I also have the temperature gauge, like I said, because I went with the 350. On the Dana transfer case, I did do the split shifting. I think it was called JB Tech that offered that. So basically you can do high and low, and then switch on just the fronts if I want. It's pretty interesting. I don't do a whole lot off-roading with it. It's pretty much not a daily driver, but it's every time it's nice out, I drive it, and it doesn't leave the road pretty much. It's just a cruiser. I take it to work and take the wife and the kids around in it. Let's see here. The paint I haven't done anything to the outside as far as paint wise, other than the hard doors. I did paint those, but everything else is pretty much the factory paint. The guy before me also had color matched, painted those. Not sure if I like it all that great or not. If you look sort of close, you can sort of see it spidering where it's sort of cracked, but it's not bad. It's a different look. And he also did a different style. I think this is like a TJ license plate holder, which is a little bit odd, but works. I hadn't changed it. Got other things, other priorities. And I did go through and rebuild and repaint swingway tie carrier, and then also pulled off the bumper and had it powder coated and reworked, so it looks pretty good. And then everything on the back end as far as the spare tire carrier. It did come with the Nerf bars that are on it. Those are welded onto the frame, so those are not coming off. It also has Warren walking center hubs for these, which work out pretty good. And they let's see here, the front bumper has also been changed out. Just a stock one. This is ready for a winch. I'd really like an 8274 to go on front. Fill up that hole. That would make it look a whole lot nicer. That's an overview of it. The body is not in perfect shape. I've got some issues here and there. The typical places you start to see some bubbling up there, and I have some rust spots coming in down there. And then you can see here, I've got some problems. And then the windshield frame is definitely on the next list to be replaced. It's got a lot of rust in it. And then windshield's cracked, so I'm just gonna knock them both out at the same time whenever I do that. Let me open the hood, show you the 350 we've got in it. So like I said, this has been replaced, and it's got a Chevy 350. It came out of, I was told, a 78 model C10. It's got a little bit of work been done to it. It's got a mild cam in it. It's also got a set of Vortex heads. And then I replaced, about last year or so, I replaced the carburetor with the new Elderbrock. So it is carbureted, it's not fuel injected. Thing drives good, sounds good. I don't have any heating issues. It doesn't get hot, anything at all. It runs solid. One of the future things I want to upgrade is I do have a new master cylinder and diaphragm for power brakes, but with the cam I don't have much of a vacuum, so I think I'm going to do a hydroboost setup, so all that will come out very soon hopefully, and I'll have a lot better brakes. But I went through and I've touched some stuff up. It does have Sanderson short inside fender well, inside frame headers that are stainless ceramic. And let's see here, obviously done things like battery. This whole Jeep has had the harness reworked, so it has got a painless wiring harness in it. It still has the stock 256 radiator, which is surprising that it doesn't get hot, but it does have a 360 fan shroud out of Cherokee that allows it to bolt up to this. But like I said, I don't have any issues with it running hot or anything like that. I do drive it back and forth to work. This drives great. This is one of the other upgrades that we did, helped out working. So it's got hydraulic arms that keep the hood open, if you're wondering how I was able to open it with one hand. And still, I sort of like it because in the other Jeeps I've had, I've always pushed the hood back and it's hit the windshield and left, you know, a dent across the center of the hood, which this one doesn't have, so it's nice. So it keeps it from going back any further than there, which is really nice. On the underside, like I said, I've rebuilt the transmission and transfer case in the rear end, and this fall I'll end up doing the front end, but it currently has true duals from the front all the way back. Flowmasters HS2s, I believe that they are. Had a little bit of a time trying to identify those. They are fairly loud, and it's one of the things I'm trying to upgrade here next. I think I'm going to go with some Borlas that are a little bit quieter. It sounds really good. It's got a really nice idle, but it's just a lot louder than I want it to be when I'm running around in it. And the exhaust does go over the axle and out both sides. And while I'm under here, it's also got an upgraded drive shaft. So I've got a Tom Woods double cardan drive shaft, and then changed out the back of the Dana 300 to accept that yoke. So. There's a cold start other than me driving it out of the garage, but as you can tell, it's a little loud. It does sound really good. It's got a nice slope to it, definitely deep. It's just the problem is under a load, driving down the road, it gets to be a little loud. As you can see, it's fairly quiet up front. No tipping, no knocking. Nice, smooth. The previous owner did everything from Novak adapters. So there's a different bell housing. There's an adapter plate that allows the T-176 to mate up to it. And then also there's the motor mounts. The only thing I've really done is replace the bushings and the bolts for some of those things. They were starting to look a little worn. When I originally bought it, it came with some 35-inch BFGs, but they were mud terrains, and it pretty much filled up the fender well. These aren't too far from it, but I downsized and went with a 33 1250, and rides a whole lot better. Like I said, I'm just trying to keep it a little more tame and a little less rowdy, just to be a good driver. Yeah, so that's just a quick overview of my 84 CJ7. Like I said, it's more of a retro mod. I am trying to keep it somewhat tame and somewhat stock, even though it does have a 350 and 33s, but I'm trying not to replace the fenders with fender wells and stuff like that. I like the stock look. This is about the fourth one I've had, and I've done a lot to it, and a lot of the other ones in the past. It took a lot of trail riding, but this one I'm just enjoying driving it. My wife enjoys it. I like taking the dogs in it, take my kids around in it. But yeah, so that's it. 84 CJ7.